Love is often seen as a powerful feeling, an emotion that overwhelms us and makes us feel alive. But have you ever wondered if there's a way to love that doesn't tie us down or cause us pain? Today we'll talk about a way of loving that's not only deeper, but also more conscious, based on the teachings of Buddhism. Imagine yourself in a park, surrounded by friends. You're all laughing and sharing precious moments. In that moment, you feel complete, part of something beautiful. But what happens when this identity becomes dependent on the approval of others or the need to feel loved? The truth is that often, by clinging to love, we can create suffering. That's why today we'll explore conscious love, a love that doesn't hold back and isn't attachment. By the end of this video, you'll discover how to apply mindfulness to your relationships, freeing yourself from expectations and attachments that can only lead to disappointment. The key is to love without attachment. Let's start by understanding what it means to love consciously. Conscious love is a profound feeling, but it's also an act of wisdom. It's not about possessing the other person or trying to change them. On the contrary, it's based on acceptance and freedom. Think of a plant. If you overwater it, you drown it. If you let it grow freely, it will blossom in unexpected ways. The same is true for human relationships. Let's take a story from everyday life as an example. Imagine a young couple who love each other deeply. At first, everything seems perfect, but as the months pass, the anxiety of losing the other person begins to creep in. "I always have to be there," the young woman says to herself. "If I don't text him, he'll think I don't care." Here, love turns into attachment and fear. The two begin to argue, not because of their feelings, but because of the fear of losing that bond. One practice we can adopt is observation. Take time to observe your thoughts and emotions. When you feel jealous or insecure in your relationship, ask yourself, what is the real source of this insecurity? Is it a thought you have inside yourself, or is it related to the other person's behavior? When you begin to observe this, you discover that the problem often lies within ourselves, not the other person. You can follow a simple exercise. Every morning, before starting your day, take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and reflect on this. Today, I want to love without attachment. I want us to be happy together without feeling possessed. And as you do this, let go of any expectations. This small shift in perspective can have a huge impact on how you relate to the people you love. Now, you might ask yourself, how can we approach such a love without losing our individuality? Another fundamental key is the practice of gratitude. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by attachment, focus your attention on what you appreciate about the other person. You could write a list of their qualities. Focus your mind on what makes the other person special to you. This will shift your focus from the anxiety of loss to appreciating the beauty of the encounter. Now let's look at another metaphor. Imagine watching a beautiful sunset. You observe the hues of orange, red, and purple blending in the sky. These are fleeting moments, and we can't own them. We can only appreciate them for what they are. Conscious love is similar to this sunset. It's a process of accepting the beauty of the other person in the present without trying to possess them. Non-attachment doesn't mean a lack of connection. On the contrary, it means building a deep connection based on freedom. This is exactly what the Buddha taught. The practice of non-attachment allows us to experience healthier and more authentic relationships. An exercise that can help you with this is the mindfulness circle. Find some friends and discuss what love means to you. Write down your answers and share them. This way, you can discuss what each of you considers essential in a relationship. This discussion creates a sense of belonging, but without depending on the acceptance of others. One of the most common enemies on our journey towards conscious love is the fear of loneliness. Often we stay in toxic relationships out of fear of being alone. The perception of feeling incomplete without someone by our side is misleading. Buddhism teaches us that true happiness comes from within, not from what surrounds us. When you cultivate self-love, you discover a sense of completeness that doesn't depend on other people. Now we invite you to reflect on this. What moods do we bring into our relationships? The key is to acknowledge unpleasant emotions, let them flow, and then decide how we want to respond. Learning to breathe through discomfort is empowering. Try putting it into practice. When you feel frustrated or sad in a relationship, stop and breathe. Allow these emotions to emerge without judging them or trying to push them away. Another great lesson from Buddhism is impermanence. Everything around us is constantly changing, including our relationships. By recognizing this, we can appreciate each moment without fearing its end. This doesn't make us apathetic, but rather makes us more present. Let's put it this way. If a flower blooms one day and fades the next, we don't feel sad. We celebrate the moment it blossomed. Conscious love invites us to do the same, to celebrate every single moment without clinging to the past or worrying about the future. Now, I'd like to suggest a practical exercise. Every evening, before going to bed, write down 3 moments of the day when you gave or received love. This could be a gesture, a word, or a smile. This way, you stimulate your mind to focus on the positive, breaking down fears and strengthening connections. If you've made it this far, it means you're delving into a deep and complex topic. That's why it's important to emphasize how essential it is to share these reflections with others. Talk to a friend and share what you've learned. Learning together creates stronger bonds. If you're passionate about stories like this and don't want to miss the next secrets we'll reveal, be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss anything. Remember that mindful love is a journey, not a destination. Every day you can choose to practice mindfulness. Whenever you encounter difficulties or feel insecure, return to the basics. Breathe. Accept. Ultimately, loving without attachment doesn't mean being emotionally cold. It means being present, understanding, and letting go. It means offering and accepting love without the fear of loss. It means being a gardener, not a controller of someone else's garden. Remember, we can't stop the wind from blowing away the flowers, but we can appreciate them while they're here. And so it is with love. It's time to smell the flowers in your life. You don't have to make them grow in your garden, but give them the freedom to bloom naturally. And on this journey, you are not alone. Every breath, every conscious moment brings you closer to this authentic and profound love. Embrace this opportunity. Embrace conscious love and start living in the present. I leave you with a challenge. Tomorrow, try to observe how you love. Be aware of your intention, your emotions, and your expectations. You'll discover that by letting go of the need to have, you can open your heart to a deeper and more real love.